felt when you were there, what you learned, if anything touched your heart. I just love these retreats, you guys, because I feel like they bring a lot of connection with people that you haven't met before, and sidelines. I think sidelines are just as important as your up and down line, because we will always be our biggest cheerleaders. Like Becky, you have no idea how happy, I can't see your face, but so happy you're here with us. And I love this community so much. So go ahead, Jamie.
What? What do you want me to just talk about my experience?
Yeah.
Oh, it was super awesome. I was just really grateful that I was able to go. And it was kind of healing for me because in the last 10 years, I've had a lot of friends um, turn around and not actually be my friends. And so I've had a really hard time feeling comfortable with like allowing myself to be open to friendships anymore and like put myself out there. But it was so nice to like just feel so super comfortable and accepted from like moment one. And I don't know, it was just so good. Like it was just so, I don't know, it was fun. It was
I love
really good to
that,
hear from
Jamie.
everyone.
It was so good to see you there and see you and Lauren be there, and like meeting you, Lauren, and the cutest little Scarlett in the world. Look at her. I just loved connecting with both, well, all three of you, I should say. Like, I just love that you were there, and I hope it kind of lit a fire in you knowing how capable you are. I think we're really good at like capping our own capability and how anything is possible, right? Anything is possible. So it was fun to see you kind of open that, like that door.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun to see you dancing and being yourself with no
Sure.
judgment.
Exactly.
Okay, who's next? Thank you for sharing, Jamie.
I'll go. One thing that I always love about it is just feeling how everyone is genuine. And I know that's so cliche and we say it a lot, but I was talking to Amy, who was the person I came with, and we live in the same neighborhood, and I love our neighborhood. I really do. I've not connected. I'm friends with the women, but there's a difference in being friends and connecting with someone. And I feel like something that I love so much about the Plexus family is you can meet someone for the first time and just feel connected to them in a way it's not, you can't even describe it. Like, it's indescribable how much you can feel connected to them. And like Jamie, you and I sat down and like talked about The Bachelor and just things where it's like, I just feel comfortable with you. And really, I've only hung out with you like a couple of times, and it's just things like that are super awesome to feel the community. And I always love hearing everyone's stories, and especially people who are sharing in a ranked high. I don't know how to say that. Like, I've been sharing for a while and shared with a lot of people. And yet I always love too the refresh and reminder that like people genuinely started the products and are sharing because it's changed their life. And every single person there was there because the products changed their life. And if people want to do it for money, that's their own thing. But like, I just loved that everybody is there because the products change your life, and that's why you share it. And I think that's a motivating factor for me, because that's my why, and I connect more with that. And so it's always great to get a refresh and reminder that that's truly why everybody does it. And it's so fun and it's so great. So just loved it. Hard to come back to reality of a mom and diaper changing.
I love that, Carly. And can I add, Carly, can we all just do like a slow clap, like silently or loud? Because Carly kind of had a level up over this weekend, you guys. Did anyone notice it?
Notice? What do you mean?
Nicole hit it right on the nail. Like, your energy to let loose.
Oh.
And just be you and not let any insecurities kind of hold you back. I don't know. I saw it. Nicole put it right on, like she nailed it when she was like, your energy has shifted.
No, I know. That's so sweet. And you got me to dance, which my husband can barely even get me to do.
I showed Josh the TikTok video and he was like, Carly looks like she's asleep. Like, let's get this over with.
It's my least favorite thing to do. Least favorite thing to do is dance. I would rather stick a pencil in my eye than dance. But I'm like,
It's
you know what?
great.
But it was so fun. I'm like, Nicole, I want to do it because Nicole wants to do it. And I think this sounds super fun. And there I was, looking like an idiot, but there I was.
I loved it.
It said it didn't post on Facebook. Does it show on Facebook?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, it said that like the music, like I couldn't post it with the music, so like it wouldn't post. Does that make sense? Anyways,
Yeah, that's not that's not a problem.
all right. Well, does anybody else have an experience they want to share about Leaders Retreat? Or Teresa, we missed you.
And you're going to be there next in 2 months.
Is it
All
in
right.
2 months?
I
Well,
guess
there's
yeah. You're going to be there. Doing
I'm
TikTok
shooting for it.
videos with Carly and Nicole.
Okay. Let's jump right in then. If everyone's done talking, Jess, do you have anything you want to start off with?
Okay, so tonight I just want to talk about capturing your vision with Plexus. And that kind of sounds weird, right? Like when I started sharing, I was 6 months into my health journey. And I was actually talking to Carly about this today on the phone. I was like, I was never looking for another side gig. Can I just say that? Like, that's my side gig. But to me, I was like, this is a little hobby. I'm just going to share on the side. And the more I'm sharing, I even told my husband this today in the car. I said, I have been a nurse for 11 years, you guys. 11 years. I've been in the health industry for 17 years. I was a CNA when I was 14 years old. And there has never been something that I've never loved more. I love my job. I love serving patients. I love taking care of patients. I think that's why my husband became a nurse, because he saw how much I love to serve people. Just naturally, I've always known I wanted to be a nurse. And those that were at Leaders Retreat, like, you know, at 14 years old, you don't say, I want to be in network sales and I want to be knocking door to door as Sister Plexus. Like, I never thought in my life that I would find greater joy in something that I'm doing now. And so I kind of feel like the business side of Plexus has given me something that I've never, it's been like that voided feeling of like, I never thought this would be possible for me because I never knew what I was missing. Does that make sense? Like, you don't know what's missing until you get a little taste of it. And so I want to talk to you guys about capturing your own vision with business, the business side of Plexus. Like, do you guys have a business why as far as the vision goes? Like, yes, it's changed. I can look at every single face on this call and I know it's changed your life, whether that be you or your husband or your kids. Like, it's changed something in all of us, right? Like, I went from pharmacy dependency to thriving off just Plexus. Yes, I'm still taking something, but it's like brushing our teeth. We're never going to just stop brushing our teeth. That would be so gross. And our body needs that nutrients and that supplementation. Like, I don't know why the world has such a negative view on supplementation, because it's been around for years. Kim talks about how she's been recommending probiotics for 25 years. And it used to be known as hokey pokey, right? And I think that's why I've had such a block toward my vision with the business. And so I kind of want to talk to you. Oh, I just love her so much. I just want to grab her. One day there's going to be technology where you can like go through the screen. I don't know. I just want to talk about that tonight, and I want to help capture your own vision. And I would love to have this as an open discussion as well. And with this, I want you guys to pull out a piece of paper and a pen and set your goals for the next 90 days. I don't want you to look at the whole picture. I was telling Melissa this the other day. Sometimes I think we like to see the whole picture of what's going to happen in 2021. We want to see that beautiful picture. We want all the puzzle pieces to fit. And we have to remember, it takes a while to create a puzzle. We did a puzzle at Leaders Retreat, and the women worked on it for hours, and we still didn't even get it done. And I feel like we want to see it right now. And sometimes you have to put pieces back before you can place that piece again because it doesn't fit right then. So I think we get so used to wanting something now. And so I want you to create your goals on your paper as we talk. about what your goals are with the business. And you can even add your health, but where do you see yourself in 90 days with the business? I want to see you guys all at Bear Lake. We have some fun events planned at Bear Lake, and I want to see all of you there. So let's talk about this and set goals. And I want this to be an open discussion. I know Nicole has a few things to say as well. She is in the middle of doing Align with Brooke Hemingway, and I think she has a lot of input to put with this, but I just want you to get your brains going. Nicole, you can start.
I just wanted to add, Christy Jex always says that you have to get clear on your vision. Because like, it's really easy to be like, I always use weight. I don't know why, maybe because I've had 4 kids and I've had to lose weight each time. But it's easy to be like, okay, I want to lose 40 pounds. I want it to fall off right now. You know what I mean? And then like a month later be like, I haven't lost anything. And then a month later be like, still haven't lost anything. Right? Like, it's easy to have a vision of what you want, but if you don't get clear on how you're going to achieve it, you won't achieve it. It's the same with anything in your life, right? Not just weight loss. So when we do the business, it's 99% mindset, you guys, because our mind is going to stop us from taking action, and you have to take action to see results, right? But what really helps is to work on your mindset every day, but it's also to get clear on what you're creating. Getting clear on your goals. And the number one thing that has helped me, I've been doing this for 2 years, and the number one thing that has helped me is to write it down. You have got to write down what your goal is. And I've said this multiple times, but I'm going to say it again right at the top of the piece of paper. I am gold. I am senior gold. I am ruby, right? Like, you've got to write it, and then you need to know where you ended your last month at, and then you need to know what you have to create. So like, if you ended last month at 300 points and you need to be at 500 points for ruby, then you need to create 200 points. So you need to put down, I need 200 points. Break that down. How many people is that? Okay. So 200 points is 40 people. Okay, I need 40 people. Am I going to do that in a month? No, I'm going to do it in 2 months. Or yeah, I'm going to do it in a month, right? You got to get clear on like the time frame, how many people you need to add each month. Like, get so clear. And I want to say too, is that one of the biggest things that has held me back from creating goals is, first off, failing. Scares the crap out of me. Like, I don't want to fail. I only want to do it if I can do it, right? I don't want to like put it out there and project it out there. Like, even saying I'm like Emerald is still kind of hard for me. So like, what if I say it and then I feel like I fail you guys because I don't achieve it, right? Which is ridiculous. Like, why would I feel that way? So you've got to put it out there. And then I was going to say the number one thing that's hard for me, and then I like totally went off on a different tangent, but is the idea of doing it by myself. Like, when I think about creating 500 points to hit Emerald, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how do I do that? That's overwhelming. But when you think about doing it with other people, it's not so overwhelming, right? So when you're writing down on your piece of paper, be like, I know this person's loving her products. I'm going to talk to her about getting 1 person. Then I'm going to talk to her about getting 2 people. And then I'm going to be like, girl, if you get 1 more, you're going to get $100 bonus. You know, like, you've got to get clear on who you're going to talk to. And you might go to your friend, I don't know, like Jessica. Jessica has a friend named Jessica. So I'm not talking about Jessica. I'm talking about her friend Jessica. You might go to Jessica and be like, hey, I know you're loving your products. Like, do you think your sister or your mom, or like, who have you been thinking about? Do you know, would you want to help them get started? And she might be like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to talk to her about that. And you guys don't have control over that. But somehow, when you're talking to all these different people, 1 person's going to surprise you, and they're going to add 3 people, right? So when you're thinking about hitting your goals, don't think about doing it on your own. Think about the mom out there that was just like you, that wants to get her products paid for, and that needs this community, right? We're looking for the one. This is something that we've been talking about a lot lately, and they talked about it today. Look for the one. You can't save them all. Okay? I get overwhelmed with the thought of saving everybody. I want everybody to have a perfect experience, and I want everybody to like me, and I want everyone to do the business because I can see the potential in all of them, and I'm like, oh, she'd be so good at this. And I want to save them all. And that overwhelms me sometimes. And I have to take a deep breath and say, I'm looking for that one person that's ready for change, one person that's ready to create an amazing future of abundance, one person that's ready to run with me. One person will change your entire business and also your life, because you're going to build a friendship and a relationship with that person that you need and they need desperately. Right? This is so much more than a rank. I want you to remember that when you're creating a goal and you're like, I don't really need to be Ruby, right? This is so much more than a rank, you guys. That one person that will change your business, you will change their life. They need you. They need you to show up. Like I've like just had this thought just keep coming to my mind. I'm like, maybe I don't need to be Emerald, right? Like I'm good. And then I'm like, no, like I just keep feeling like dream a bigger dream. There's someone out there that needs you. Like you will find that person. Carly, did you want to say something?
Yeah, it's interesting you just said that, because I had an experience yesterday that actually makes me emotional. Whew. I sometimes when you post, you think everybody who I'm friends with on Facebook has seen everything I posted. They know it. You know, you think they know it. And I posted my live story from 3 Days of Plexus onto my page yesterday. And I thought, I don't need to post this. I'm like, I don't know, I was kind of self-conscious about it because it's vulnerability and it's not my thing. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to. And I even said, like, I'm posting this in case it could help somebody. And a guy I dated in high school's mom commented on my post and said, I have such similar symptoms as you. What are you taking? And so I don't know so much about this, but I messaged her. We were messaging back and forth. And then I said, hey, are you free to talk tonight? And I talked to her for like 45 minutes last night. And she has like almost the exact same symptoms I have. And it was so powerful to me because I thought I wasn't going to post that, because I would think in my head, I'm sure that she's already seen all my posts. She would know my story, but she didn't. She didn't know my story. And so that one post helped her. And she's like 70 years old and she has grandkids. And she told me about like on Christmas, like her symptoms caused her to really like not be able to enjoy her grandkids on Christmas. And it just touched me. It was such a powerful experience. So I just thought that kind of was an interesting story when you said that. So that's all I had to share.
I love that. And I love that you've been sharing Plexus now for over a year. And like that person is just now ready. They weren't ready a year ago. Maybe they didn't even know you were doing it a year ago. Like we think we put ourselves out there and we're like, everybody knows what I'm doing. But it's
I like to think,
there's people that
I
don't.
like to compare it to like, how often do your kids or your husband come into their room and they're like, I can't find the toy they're looking for, or Avery all the time, I can't find my black shoes in the morning, like her black Nikes. And I'm like, well, how good did you look? And I think by nature, it's very easy for us to just kind of skim through things or like skim the room. And then you walk in and you're like, Avery, if it were an elephant, it would have bit you. Right? Like, and I think that with posting sometimes too, I find myself just kind of mindlessly scrolling. And so Carly, for her, it could have been like, yeah, she saw it. But sometimes I feel like we get so used to not noticing or recognizing it. And at one point you inspired her, and that was yesterday. And like, that was your one. Yes, she didn't enroll, right? She hasn't ordered, but something sparked in her that she knew she needed to reach out to you. And that's what I love about posting consistently. And I need to be better at it. I've been horrible the last couple of weeks because I haven't felt great, but I do believe that the more you post, you're not selling, you're sharing and inspiring people. And Nicole actually posted this, I think it was today. I don't know if you guys know who Tiffany Peterson is, but she gave a quote, and I think his name is Foster or something.
Hubbard?
Do you remember his last name? How he said,
Was it Foster Hubbard?
Yes.
Like doing is not, what's the exact quote?
Doing is not hard, deciding is.
I love that so much. And I feel that way about your posting. Like deciding to post is what is challenging, right? Like you're like, oh, I don't want to post this. I've posted this a million times.
Or
But like,
deciding to go live. You're
yeah,
like pushing the button, you're like, ugh.
right. And like, Carly, your live yesterday in the 3 days of Plexus was amazing. And I'm so glad you posted that because that is a vulnerable place for you. But you have blessed that one person that needed to hear it. And I have to remind myself that, like, I'm not here to save everybody. Like Nicole said, I'm not here to save everybody. But Carly, like, I look at the screen and you are my one. Like, Melissa is my one. Even though there's two of you, like, I feel like without finding that one, there's going to be several ones, because the beautiful thing about one is if you times it by 5, like one is a multiple number. So that's why I love that one. Like I just try to think of that in my head. Who am I talking to today? Who needs to hear my voice? Who needs to hear from me? And Tiffany Peterson's huge on that. Like when she's posting to her thousands of followers, she legit prays to God and says, who is that one person that needs to hear from me today? And what do I need to like portray? Like, don't think about the hundreds of people that follow you, or like, I don't even have a lot of followers, but I try to think of who needs to hear from me today. It's weird. It's like this divine download of like you talking to someone and then them reaching out to you and you're like, oh my gosh, that's exactly why I had to post today. So Carly, thank you for sharing that, because it reminds me that yes, consistent posting is great, but when you do it scared, it'll always come back and bless your life. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Nicole.
No, you're fine. I love that. I want to share a little bit of this guy's story with you. Like, I'm just going to tell you about it. So he's like, I'll show you his face real quick. This is what he looks like. His name is Clint Pulver, I think is how you say his last name. And I honestly, when I was looking at the lineup of the speakers for Align, he was the one I was least excited to hear from. I don't know why. I didn't recognize him. He looked young, and I was just kind of like, eh. Like, I'm really excited to hear from Chalene Johnson because we all know who she is, right? Like, think, don't we? Like Beachbody? No? Okay. Laura's like, anyways, like I was like looking at all these different people, and like one girl had like breast cancer, and I was like, ooh, I want to hear her story. Like, there's all these people, and this other guy's a paraplegic or a quadriplegic, and I was like, ooh, I'm really excited to hear from him. And then this guy's picture pops up, and I'm like, I mean, I don't know. You guys, he blew me out of the water today. Like, his story, amazing. Anyways, I'm just going to tell you a little tidbit. So he told a story about a little boy in a class that couldn't sit still. So he was always like tapping, like tap, 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 tap. And everyone in the class would make fun of him, and they would get annoyed with him. And they were always telling him like he was too loud and he couldn't sit still and he was obnoxious, and he was always getting in trouble by teachers, and he just felt like an outcast. He felt like nobody liked him. He couldn't focus at school unless he was tapping. So he would tap because that's how he focused. That's how he thought, you know, like when you have like ADD almost, and it's like you have to be moving or you like can't think. And he had a teacher, I think his name was Mr. Jensen, if I remember right. This little boy did. And his teacher was one day said, hey, after class, I want you to come up and talk to me. And so the little boy was nervous the whole time about, you know, getting in trouble again. So he goes up afterwards, and all the kids in the class were like, ooh, you're going to get in trouble, you know, like teasing him. And he goes up and he was like, can you rub your tummy and like tap on your head, you know, like do that? And then he was like doing all these different tricks with them. Like, can you like tap with one hand and do a different motion with another hand? And the little boy would do it just fine. He's like, okay, now switch hands and do it the other way. And the little boy was like, okay. And so then he did it. And the teacher was like, I don't think that you're annoying like everybody else thinks. He's like, you're a drummer. And the little boy was, and so he pulls these drumming sticks out and he gives them to the little boy, and he goes, you're a drummer. And he said, I want you to keep these sticks in your hand as much as you can throughout your life. And it was pretty amazing because that boy was this guy that I just showed you a picture of. And he grew up to be a drummer. And he's drummed for like Tim McGraw, Carrie Underwood, like all these people, right? And he's like, I'm not the best drummer in the world. But that teacher saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, something that everybody else thought was annoying, right? And because he believed in me before I believed in myself, I went on to be a really good drummer. So then he drummed for us. It was awesome. I'm like, we got to hear him drum. And it just like, it lit my heart on fire because when I first started doing this 2 years ago, I met Christy Jex. She was like one of the very first people I met. I met her at Super Saturday, kind of like an event that we just did this last weekend. And she just like lit my heart on fire. And I don't even remember what she said to me, but she said, like, I believe in you and I know you can do this. And she saw something in me I didn't see in myself. Like she saw me as a senior ruby or an emerald at the time, but I couldn't see it at all. I was like, I don't know anyone that would want to do this with me. You know what I mean? Like we all feel like that sometimes. Like, I don't know anyone. Who am I? I can't do this. I love it because he was talking about how we don't remember days, we remember experiences, right? And he said that I bet each and every single one of you right now could put in the chat a teacher that you feel like changed your life. Somebody that like touched you. And I bet you would remember them by name, right? Or like an experience that happened. Maybe it wasn't a teacher, maybe it was somebody at church, or maybe it was just like a neighbor, like just somebody that helped you as a child and you remember that and you hold that close. So what he was saying is, he went on to talk about how he named like, he's like, okay, put in the chat, everybody put in the chat, like, who was the last two Miss Americas? What was their names? Put it in the chat. Like literally nobody could do it, right? I mean, those are people that like have worked really hard for their accomplishment. Or like, I could say like, who is, I don't know, somebody profound, like tell me their name. And you wouldn't be able to tell me their name. But if I said like, who is that one teacher or neighbor or mom or friend that changed your life? You don't forget that, right? So he says, it's not the success or the popularity, it's the significance. I like myself best when I am with you. Like you complete me, you make me better, you make me a better version of myself. That's how you have to see yourself in this business. How are you contributing and lifting somebody up? How are you making a significant difference in somebody's life? Where a year from now, they'll say, you changed my life. I'm better because I am with you. That's how you run your business. You run it with heart because people want to be with you when you change their life. And you're not going to change their life if you're scared to reach out to them, or if you're scared to follow up with them, or you're scared to tell them that they need to change the regimen, or you're scared to tell them that they need to cut out sugar. If you're scared, like I've had this fear of following up with people. I'm like, oh, what if I follow up and they think I'm just trying to like upsell them a product? Like I get scared sometimes to like really dig in and work with people. But you guys, like building that foundation and showing up for somebody in a way that nobody has shown up for them before. And sometimes that takes telling them the hard things that they don't want to hear. You know, like sometimes it's like, you got to change that. That's not serving you anymore. But that kind of like significance in changing somebody's life, that's what is going to make people want to follow you and do this with you, right? I don't know. I mean, his story was amazing. Maybe it's not touching you the way it touched me, but I wish you could all watch it. And you're more than welcome to. If you're close by, you can come watch the replay with me. But he said, a drop in the bucket, little by little, makes a little a lot. I love that. A drop in the bucket, a little by little, makes a little a lot, right? That bucket adds up. So that was just something that came to my mind. I don't know if any of you guys have comments on that or anything else to add.
I think we forget how often we can be influential because it's not recognized enough, right? Like even that teacher, it wasn't like he got recognized in the moment that he changed his life and he became a drummer. And I think it's normal to, like, I think about the experiences I've had and been influenced. How often do you give that person that credit?
Sometimes
Like,
we don't know how we get
right. Like,
those lives.
And with Plexus, I feel like Nicole, I met you 17 years ago. We were stupid college kids that did stupid things. And
We were pretty cool.
And then we go our own separate ways. We don't talk for months, you guys. Like we would talk now and then, but it was just like small talk. I'd babysit her son sometimes so her and her husband could go out on a date, but it's like, we didn't have a friendship. And you influenced my life, right? Even though, and I feel like God puts you in someone's path for a reason. And at that time, I didn't know that that was the reason. I just thought we became friends and we dressed up as prom dead queens for Halloween and that was it. And then we went on our own way. And then 17 years later, you legit changed everything for me. And then I think about Carly, and I get emotional thinking about this, but I ran into Carly probably 3 or 4 times, even before talking to her about her gut. We had like ran into each other at the splash pad. We parked right by each other. And I know she's not on the screen right now, but we parked right next to each other. I had my daughter over for her daughter's birthday party. I sat across from her at a Relief Society activity. And I ran into Carly so many times that I'm like, was that God's way of being like, you are going to influence this girl's life? And at that time, I didn't even want to share Plexus. I wanted nothing to do with sharing Plexus. But then it like, little by little, it started changing my life, right? And then a little became a lot. And that actually hits home to me because if I had never shared something so little that happened every day for me that gradually changed my life, I don't know if I would have ever influenced Carly. And not that I'm like, Carly, bow down to me, like, I changed your life. Like, I don't want that. I don't want that praise. But I feel like we influence people every single day and inspire people and you don't even know it. Like, how often do you think people are scrolling through your Instagram? And it doesn't even have to be a Plexus post, but it can be something inspiring. Like Michelle just posted, I just saw on Facebook that she posted daily affirmations. And who could be reading that? Someone who can't even get out of bed because their depression's so bad. Like, I think we have to remember, how can we influence or touch someone's life? And I think it's really important that as we do it little by little, it does get bigger and it becomes a lot. So I love that you shared that, Nicole, that a little does go a long way. That's that 1%. If we're working or showing up 1% in our lives, in our business, in our jobs, it will just keep shifting and shifting and it will become a lot. So does anyone else want to add anything? And I know this is like a lot of mindset, and I want to take the last like couple minutes to talk about your goals and where you would like to be in the next 90 days. And if there's anything that I can help you map out, and we don't have to do it like on this call, but like if you're comfortable, we can talk about it. Like, and I know Lauren asked, can you guys share what your hour on social media looks like? Is that like sharing Plexus or like any kind of social media?
Well, I just mean like the stuff that you've talked in the past about, like how you set aside an hour to do stuff for Plexus. And so I was curious, like, okay, how do you spend that hour when you know specifically, okay, this is how I'm going to do stuff for Plexus?
Right. So for me, my hour looks like I log into my back office. I check any perk rewards that are going to be lost within the next 3 days, because you have access to that to see who's going to lose their perk rewards. And I try really hard to keep up with like my farther down lines too and reach out to that sponsor. That's how I kind of start my hour. And sometimes that hour is at 6 a.m. and sometimes that hour is at 1 p.m. Like, I just have to make it work with my work schedule. And with you being a working mom and in nursing school, like, you have to find what hour works good for you. But then I go straight to my follow-ups. So I get my little calendar. I have it in here on my bed. I get my calendar out. I follow up with all of my people that are either on the products, and I'm sending out my weekly retention videos. And then I also try to reach out to someone that has talked to me about Plexus before, just to check in. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be Plexus. I really try hard to do social media posting in the morning. Like, if I get past 2 p.m., I usually don't post, because the algorithm for Facebook and Instagram is not great after 2 p.m. And I am so busy with my kids from 2 to 8 p.m. that I'm like, it's just not going to happen. You can download an app that you can schedule out posts, and I have that on my phone, and I've done that a few times. It's called Later, I believe. And it's called Later, and it just like goes to your Instagram and Facebook, and then you can, like, on Sunday night, you could do 4 days of posting that week, and it could be Plexus, personal, about your job, your new job, like about your kids, and then that way you're not on your phone utilizing that time, because sometimes making a post does take a lot of time, and you have to like be focused that you're spelling things right. So that's kind of how my hour looks, and if anyone wants to give her tips as well, because something that might work for me may not work for you. And I try to utilize that time, because what I find myself doing is, like, I hop on Instagram, and guess what I start doing? Scrolling. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I just wasted 3 minutes, and now I don't have time to post. So I just intentionally try to focus on, okay, I have 5 minutes. I set my timer. This is for perk rewards only. And then I go to 10 minutes. I'm going to send out all my follow-ups. And I usually don't hear back from people right then and there. It's like trickled through the day. And if I'm with my kids at 3:30 doing homework, you better believe I'm not writing that person back. Like, nothing is emergent in Plexus. I promise you, nothing is emergent. They can wait. That's why I love 3-way text messages. For example, Carly has a girl that's struggling, and she added Nicole and me into that message. And on Monday, I couldn't even get back to her until 10:30, but Nicole had a second, so she chimed in. And that's why I love 3-way messages, because someone will get back to someone as soon as they can. So I don't know if anyone else wants to share what they do with their hour, or how they work their business during the day.
I'll just add that Christy Jex is so amazing at doing like action challenges. Are you part of the Synergy Plexus Builders? I think you are. So her Synergy Plexus Builders, like, you'll see, like, a lot of times they'll be like, she'll either call it IPA or like action challenge, and they'll just be like, do this for 10 minutes, do this for 5 minutes. Or sometimes it's not even minutes. It'll be like, send 15 follow-ups, reach out to 10 new people, invite 10 people to the 3-day, like things like that. That is literally like all you have to do to run your business. It's like, and even if you can't do all of it, if you're like, there's no way I can't get that all done, be like, okay, I'm going to do like as much as I can in an hour or in a half an hour. You know what I mean? But she lays it out there pretty clear. I would say, like, inviting new people to the 3 days of Plexus every week is really important, because even though that seed, like, you're planting that seed, and they might join and they might not, but say you only get like 2 people to join in 1 week, right? And then you're like, oh, they didn't even sign up. Like, it doesn't work. Well, those 2 people are in your funnel, and they're floating around in there, and they might pop out of your funnel in 6 months. But as you keep adding those people to the 3-day and following up with them, you're going to get more people trickling out. So, and another thing is, this is probably, to me, the very most important part of doing a business. Like, if you're really unorganized like I am, you guys, I'm not the most organized person in the room, I promise you. Is Jess laughing at me? She's like, no, just building relationships. Be genuine with people. Comment, like, when you're scrolling Facebook, comment on their things, like, not just like a smiley face or a heart or love it, like, which I do sometimes if I'm in a hurry, but try to like connect with them over what they're writing. So when you're scrolling, be like, oh, I read that. Oh, that's really interesting. Like, her son just, got a cast on his arm, like he broke his arm. I'm going to go and be like, so sorry your son got hurt. Like, what a strong little guy. Like, I hope he's doing well. I hope he has a great recovery. Or, oh my gosh, my son broke his arm too. Like, this is what we did and it really helped. Like, be genuine and comment and create that connection. So when you do reach out to them later, it's not like you literally are silent and now you're reaching out to me. Like, building those relationships and that trust and that love, and then also like letting people see parts of you in your life where you're putting yourself out there, that is way more powerful than you think in building relationships. So I think that's a really important part of it, along with everything that Jess said. I want to add like one more thing that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to add, and I would love it if you have paper and pen on you to write this down. Right? I am my own runner. Because so often I don't know, I've heard this a lot from people. It's like, if I just had somebody like Jess, I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. If I just had someone like Jess, I'm like, hello? Do I not do anything over here? It's just all Jess. You know what I mean? But it's like, it's also like that person's mentality that someone is going to show up and just do it for them. Like, if I just had a runner, then I would be this, right? You guys have to be your own runner. That is what inspires other people to run with you. Show up the way you would want somebody to show up. Like, there's so many times in our life we just want that like quick, easy, like somebody's going to come along and do all the work for us. And that's just not how it is. You've got to be that person that shows up and steps into that leadership role, even when you feel like you are failing and you're doing it imperfectly. You show up and you inspire other people to show up imperfectly. And you do the work even when you feel like nothing is happening, and eventually someone's going to see that and they're going to want to run with you. So if I could say anything, be your own runner. Stop waiting for somebody to show up and do all the work for you, and you just like, that's so nice, so easy, right? It's like, we've got to be that person that shows up every single day. So I just know that as we show up, it does inspire others to show up. And then those people, they match the level of intensity of what you put in, right? They're going to follow you. Like,
I think it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Like, the more Nicole shows up, I want to show up. And the more I show up, she shows up. Like, I think if it's a healthy balance to both show up, but like, I have to remember I'm my own runner.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, as a team, we are rising together. Like, me helping all of you reach your goals, we all just kind of go up together on the elevator, right? We don't leave anyone behind. So I think it's important that we recognize that. And I know there are a few newer sharers, and you probably feel like, oh my gosh, I'm posting like 3 times a week and I'm not seeing any reap from it. You're putting people in your funnel. You have to remember, people, even with autoimmune, I don't love to, like, I would never just get in front of a crowd, even today, and be like, I have celiac disease and I can't eat gluten and I don't poop often. And when I do poop, sometimes I have hemorrhoids. Like, I would never introduce myself like that, right? But I have to remember that, like, people think it's normal to suffer in silence. They don't want to know, like, they don't want you to know that they have something wrong with them. And that doesn't have to be an autoimmune or chronic illness, but like, how often do we get embarrassed or ashamed that we take 2-hour naps every day? Because we all know what their kids are doing, right? They're kind of defending for themselves. And I think it's important that women need women in that environment. Like, that's why I think it's so important that even if you feel you don't have an autoimmune story where it legit changed everything for my entire world, your story is more powerful than you think it is. And it's going to be relatable. Like, for example, Autumn, she is Michelle's level 1. She shared today, and I'll be honest, at Leaders Retreat, I was like, she has her walls up. She doesn't feel like she has a story. And you guys, her story touched my heart, because constipation for her was that big of a deal. And how many women, and my husband was even telling me this today, he's like, women just really suffer a lot more than men do. And I believe that to an extent, because I do believe a lot of men suffer too, but they kind of power through. Like, my husband likes to power through everything. And so I think that's why it's so important to be vulnerable, because there are people that feel like they are the only person on this entire planet that is doing it by themselves. Like, I remember, this is totally off tangent, but I remember being up at like 3 a.m, breastfeeding all of my newborns. And I remember being like, oh my gosh, I'm the only mom in the whole world that's awake at 3 a.m. feeding my baby. Like, this is the worst. I'm the only mom that's not getting sleep. And then I have to remember, how many moms in the world do you think are breastfeeding their baby right now? Like, how many moms are awake right now with a sick child, a child that has a bloody nose, a kid that doesn't sleep? Like, we feel like we're the only person going through it, when really there's a lot more people than we think. So I have to remember, I have to put myself in my shoes 2 years ago, where I thought was the only person. If Nicole would have never shared consistently, I don't think I would have ever known she was doing Plexus. So I think we just have to remember that, like, we are more relatable than we think. I know Lauren just said something. I did not even know naps were an option. That's funny. Like, it's just crazy. Like, I remember the lady across the street growing up, she took a nap every single day for 2 hours, and you could not go to her house. We couldn't go knock on her door to play with her kids. And at that time I was like, that is so strange that your mom naps, because my mom didn't nap. And so I was like, that's so weird. But I do believe that more moms nap than we think. I really do. Not that naps are bad. I took a nap this morning, but I think that we have to remember that we're human too, and it's okay to take a nap. But it's not okay when we're taking 2 to 4 hour naps and still feeling like crap. So that's what I wanted to add. We have 7 minutes, you guys. Does anyone want to add anything? If there's anything that you take away today, I want you to write on your paper, what is your vision with Plexus? So for example, my vision right now is my next rank is Emerald. And I never thought a year ago that I'd be like, wow, I'm going to hit Emerald hopefully this year, right? But I don't look at it as a rank. I don't look at it as money. I don't look at it as getting a new car. I don't look at it that way. I look at it as, dang, if I hit Emerald, how many people have I blessed? How many lives have I changed? It's almost like that, like, definition of like, oh my gosh, my ripple effect is just huge. That's how I see it. And that's like my goal is, yes, I want to be Emerald, but not because of the rewards that come with it. Yeah, that's fun. That's like the PSS, right? I want to change so many dang lives. That's why it became Emerald. I will be knocking door to door. Like, if it comes down to it, like, I want to touch and bless so many lives that I start to have that influence. And Jessica Halls, when you Google my name, it will say something good about me. You know, I want to leave a legacy. And that legacy is, she was a good person and she loved people and she helped people heal from the inside out. Yeah, it's not a cure, but she helped people. That's what I want to be known for. And what's amazing is it changed my life along the way, so that I am here, I am living, and I'm living, you guys. There's a big difference in living versus I am living my life to the fullest. I feel like I'm bearing my testimony now. Does anyone like want to add anything? Like, did you guys get anything out of this? Like, just talking about, like, I want you just to picture your next rank. See where you would be at if you were silver or gold or ruby. Like, think about where your life and how many people you would have changed and blessed, and even the perks of getting the money. What would it do for your family? What would $500, what would $1,000 do for your family? You know, I got a text from Michelle today because she had asked in the group thread when she was going to get paid for her $200 leader retreat. And I saw that I got paid that today. And so I texted her and I said, hey, did you get your $200? And her response was, yes, my family was blessed because I made $1,000 this month from Plexus. And look at the girl. Plexus has changed her life. What would $1,000 do for your family? Would it help pay for your products and your husband's products and your kids' products? Would it help you pay for your utility bills? Like, I just want you to capture, I love you, Lauren. You're like, yes. And we're going to get you there. I want you to capture your vision of what $1,000 would do for your family. What would $2,000 do? And you don't even have to look at it as that big of a picture. What would $500 do for your family? It would bless your life, right? It would bless your family's life. It would relieve financial illness. And you could do that not only for yourself, but thousands of women that are also praying for that same thing. So, amen.
Amen.
Jamie's over there like, oh, where's the popcorn? Jamie, I love you. I just want you guys to know I love each and every one of you so genuinely. And my life has been so much brighter with all of you in it. Like, I've had my high school friends, I've had my college friends, and there's nothing more special about this group of women right here. And I say that wholeheartedly. Like, I tell Josh every day, like, you guys are my best friends. And I just want to tell all of you that. And I haven't even known Lauren that long. Like, I genuinely love each of you in your hearts. And I'm just so glad that you're doing this with us.
Ditto. I'm so tired, guys.
I know. We'll wrap it up. But if you guys wouldn't mind sending me your vision, and that includes your next rank, what it would do for your family, how would it make you feel, and what your goal is in the next 90 days. And if you want to add Nicole to that message thread as well, will you please do that sometime this week so that I can help you get there and I can help support your people. And I want you to know I don't follow your people individually, but I want you to know I'm always here for a 3-way text. So if you ever need help with support, we try to go to our first upline. So Lauren, like, if you are struggling with any of your people, please don't ever hesitate to reach out to Jamie. But if you know Jamie's going to be busy, you know, if she's out of town or, you know, she's got a lot on her plate, like, that's where Melissa and I come in. I want you to know we're always doing this together and we're always going to help support each other. And that goes along with all of you, even you, Becky.
I would love to hear your goals in a private message. I just want to end with a little quote by Tiffany Peterson. It's not by her, actually. It's by someone else, but she always says it, and she quotes someone, and I can't remember who she quotes, but she says, don't judge the day by the harvest you reap. Judge the day by the seeds that you plant. Because sometimes we plant a lot of seeds, and we're like, okay, harvest time in like 3 weeks, and then like nothing, right? And we're like, but I planted so many seeds. You guys, keep planting, baby. Your harvest cannot be denied, whether it's for good or bad. What you plant will harvest eventually. So keep planting seeds, good, healthy, strong ones that turn into really yummy fruits, okay?
Preach, baby. Lauren married a farmer. I've got this.
Married a farmer, I got this. Plant your seeds, baby. All right, I love you guys. Please message us with your goals. We want to help you reach them in the next 90 days. We love you. Have a good night.
Ta-ta.